But this July is actually the 10-year anniversary of Confessions of a Video Vixen.
June is actually the 10-year.
Is June?
Yeah.
Okay.
June is the 10-year anniversary of the first book.
Okay.
So then that interview would have been about 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago. Exactly. So a lot's happened since then.
A lot. Yes.
Well, you know, that was the book that really got you known to the world.
As it was intended to.
As it was intended to. What were sort of the overnight changes that happened when that book dropped?
Wow. When Confessions came out, everything changed instantly. Confessions was fast-tracked, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to think about what the ramifications were going to be. When I say fast-tracked, I mean HarperCollins came to me in January of 2005 and asked me to write the book. The book was published June 2005. So within 6 months, the book was written, edited, printed on shelves. Very, very fast. It's called a crash. So we crashed it because it was a timely issue. It was at a time where misogyny and hip hop and just females and in that genre was getting a lot of press. People were talking about it, but no one from inside was discussing it.
Right.
You know, you had Don Imus's and everyone was just kind of talking about it, but so we had to crash it. It happened so quickly, I didn't have time to prepare. So instantly, you know, within that year, everyone kind of knows who you are. So I went through the whole like celebrity-ish kind of thing, which was different, you know, and off-putting, having to move because then your neighbors know who you are and everybody wants to ask you questions or wants an autograph or something. So just being known was a big change. I had a huge change, I think, personally, because I wanted to be private, but I kind of messed that up. You know, I didn't have that option anymore. So it was difficult to have a personal and private life and to know what that should look like. And it was hard to know who to trust. It was hard to know, you know, of course, with that came, you know, the money and the this and all those things. And it was just a lot very, very quickly. And I didn't know what to do, who to trust, where to be, who I was supposed to be. And I was still in my 20s. I wasn't even 30 yet, you know, and I had done all this. And then came Oprah and then came, you know, more sales and, you know, it was just snowballed and I lost control very, very quickly.
Well, you know, when you say that the HarperCollins approached you, you know, what exactly was the process leading up to that? I mean, did you already have kind of a rough version of the book written and did you shop it around or what happened?
I never shopped Confessions. I had done press. And if you go back, you'll remember in 2004, I was in 10 magazines between June 2004 and June 2005. January to January. I was in 10 magazines in 12 months, including a 6-page, you know, spread and interview in Vibe and Vibe's major competitor at the time, which was, I think, XXL or something, whatever it was at the time. And I had done all these magazines and I was saying that I had this book, but I didn't. And I was lying to each publication, telling them that they were the only one who was going to get, who would get this story. Okay. I remember Vibe and XXL, they were both calling me saying, "Are we the only one doing this month?" "Yes, you're the only," and I was lying. I just lied, you know, that phrase,
fake it till you
fake
make it.
It till you make it.
Okay.
I faked it for like a year that I had this book and I was writing this book and I wasn't writing anything. I mean, I knew that I wanted to, but honestly, Andrea Harrell gave me the idea back in 2003 or 4. I think it was 2003. Okay. And it was a culmination of a lot of things. It was a talk that Damon Dash and I had back in 2002, 2003, a meeting that we had with him, a director who directed the movie Boiler Room. Jay was there. Remember Stacey Dash popping by. We're at Beverly Hills Hotel or something, and there was this talk of movie, you know, doing a movie, and Damon and I had been working on that back then. I had a TV situation with VH1. They wanted to do a scripted TV version of it all those years ago. That didn't happen because the person that I partnered with was trying to kind of take over everything. So I put the kibosh on that. So it was this culmination of all these events and all these people talking, people I knew. And then Anja Harrell said, I think we were poolside somewhere at the Four Seasons or something. It was a group of us, and Damon might have been there. I can't remember. Remember, Shakem was also involved in the conversation. And it was Andre who said, write the book. If you write the book first, they can't just do whatever they want, because it would be copyrighted material, and you would protect your rights better.
What do you mean by they?
Well, people wanted to do movies and TV shows and all these things that were happening, and everyone wanted to change everything and make it what they wanted or what they thought it was or what they thought the life was like, but it's my story. And Andre said, write the book. And that's when the idea first came into my head, or was given to me actually, by Dre, but I didn't know how, and it seemed very big. And even though I'd written smaller books for myself, and I had been writing since I was a little girl, writing the book seemed really big. And Dre said, I'm not going to talk to you until you write the book.
Okay.
And I thought he was joking. And for a year, every time I saw Dre, I would say, hi. And he would turn his back on me, and he would just say, write the book. Or he'd put his head down, just say, right there. He wouldn't talk to me. In public, in front of people, he just wouldn't talk to me. And he did that for a year, every time I saw him for a year. And so by the time, HarperCollins came, I had been doing this press for a year, saying that there was this book. And technically, in my head, there was this book. But I wasn't writing anything, because it still seemed very big. And so when HarperCollins came, they said, okay, so do you have anything written? And I said, not really. I have diaries, I have notes, I have photos, I have airline tickets, I have, all this stuff kind of, storylined, but I hadn't written anything. So
when you say you had all this stuff, written storyline, you have, the airline tickets, like hotel receipts and stuff like that. So you were thinking at some point that you were going to actually compile this and put this out.
You mean as I'm saving things?
Yeah, was that like a conscious decision at that point?
No, I save everything. I'm sentimental. I find sentiment in almost anything. In my older age, I'll probably be a scrapbooker. I save every little thing. So, and I still do. Every airplane ticket, every hotel receipt, the key cards. Okay. I put them in envelopes. I put the date on them, where I was, what I did. I have a hope chest full of mementos from relationships, people who meant a lot to me. So, I just had things. I'm just that person. So by the time HarperCollins got to me, and I didn't have anything written, the way the story came about was they literally sent me a list of questions. Everyone in the office in New York sent me a list of all their questions. It was hundreds of questions. And that's how we figured out what would be in the book, based on what they wanted to know.
Okay. So did you have like a writer that you worked with? At HarperCollins, you had an editor, I assume, but was there an actual writer that kind of helped you formulate, the structure and everything?
No, I didn't have a writer. What they did bring someone in by the name of Karen Hunter, and she was to help me organize. I think we did the first couple of chapters together, and then she disappeared. Nobody can find her.
Okay.
So HarperCollins, rescinded her contract, and I was left to do it on my own. Okay. So Confessions was done alone, 30 days. I wrote that book in 30 days. And then they edited, and we went back and forth for a while, but it was a crash project, so we had to rush it, but it was written by me.
Gotcha. Now the book, starts off with you, kind of growing up in a very abusive situation. Your mother, I guess, would physically and mentally abuse you. And that was something that you seem to kind of refer back to as you get older, and what I'm saying, and then the situations that you kind of ran into. The situation that happened to you later in life, you connect them back to that a lot.
As I've gotten older and smarter, and after over 10 years of therapy and really digging into my own psyche and finding out why I've done the things I've done, why I am the way I am even today, the way I think and feel about things, it's kind of Freudian, but it all does go back to the mother. And my mother taught me a particular language. And mothering is the most important job in the world. My mother taught me the language of violence, of abuse. It was just her language. So she taught me that. Just as much as she taught me English, as much as she taught me Spanish, she taught me violence. And I saw a lot of that. And not just with her. I mean, the entire family was nuts. And we all lived together. There was 10 of us in a house. And there was alcoholism in one uncle, who is now deceased because of it. There's crazy narcotic drug abuse with another uncle, which I saw, who was also presumed deceased because he lost his mind, went into an insane asylum and disappeared, escaped.
Okay.
So these are the people I'm living with. I'm a little girl, and I'm growing up with an alcoholic, a drug addict, an abusive mother.
Right.
And
your father is where?
My father left the island, left St. Thomas when I was very young, went back to Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn. So he went back to New York, actually, went to Long Island. So I would go back and forth to stay with him in Long Island. And my mother, of course, like a lot of women who have children for the wrong reasons, I think was very upset that my father loved me and not her. So then she'd take it out on me, So there was a lot of tug of war between the parents, growing up. And so I just grew up in a house with all these issues, and then there was that violent rhetoric, that I learned early. So then going into all of my relationships, even in grade school, in high school, my boyfriend beat me, and it wasn't strange. It didn't feel weird. It felt like, oh, I know that language. My mom speaks that language.
I mean, it's so funny, man. When it's been certain places Drake has come looking for me. Like when I guess it was the Breakfast. Sometimes a lot of times people will advertise the Breakfast Club is going to be somewhere, but it might be Envy and Angela, and I don't be there.
I think celibacy is important right now for me because I'm trying to stay focused, and I want to smile more, and I want to be more into my music, and I want to be more into myself, and I want to just get to know myself better.